So you made mention about education, and that leads me to the question I'm going to be asking. So currently, Nigeria is becoming brain drain. And what do I mean by brain drain? We've had a lot of people that, people like your children that they've had opportunity to go abroad. They've been impacted with, foreign knowledge. But most of these people, they decide to stay over there. Unlike, countries like China, all these Asian countries, where some of them still go back to their motherland to, use whatever they've been taught in a foreign land to use it to improve their country. How, if you've been close to most of our leaders, what advice would you give to our leaders today to ensure that the country is not brain drained? To ensure that those people that go abroad to study, they come back to the country, they have an environment that is conducive for them to say, oh, I'm coming back to Nigeria to incorporate everything that I've been taught. What advice would you give to our leaders to ensure that we have
Well,
this kind of environment?
Mr. Adegoke, when you have seen a lot and you have been inside, you are like somebody in the Yoruba parlance that you have washed your eyes with some medicine. So you are seeing things that others are not seeing. If you are not careful, you become mad. That is the level that I'm in. I've seen so much that I begin to even wonder that you still put a lot of value on some of these people for you to think that they're thinking of what values they can add. What advice can you give somebody who himself is thinking of himself alone all the time?
Exactly.
I happen to know. It's a very sorry. I'm being careful. I don't want to get too discouraged. I've gone from that level to the level of, let me just limit myself to people around me. Now, this thing I'm telling you is actually having a lot of effect. I will cite one or two things. People that are rushing abroad, their problem is more complicated than even what we are talking about. Well, this is a close. This thing is not going to be placed. This one is not going to be. This discussion is not going to be on the social media. Am I right?
It's going to be on social media, sir.
It's going to be on our social media.
We are live as we talk. We are live.
All right. The reason why I'm saying that is this. I know people that schooled abroad. They are back in Nigeria. They are facing the same kind of tension that we are facing, you and me that we are facing. They are not finding it easy, but they are insisting on staying because they know that there are too many opportunities here.
Yeah.
Those kind of people are people that have been able to identify their purpose. They are not people just looking for a good apartment, good car, and food to eat. Anyone that's thinking that way will still end up abroad. Nothing will keep them in Nigeria because the environment is not conducive for that. Next to me here, next to where I'm living, there's a flat, 8 flats in a building. Everybody in that building, they're all foreigners, Chinese, Indians, Lebanese. So a few of them are working for themselves. So I asked one of them, what are you doing here? He said, well, it's an agent, is linking one trader from one country to another, China. He said he has lived in China. He has lived in Dubai. He mentioned about 4 other countries. He said he decided to choose Nigeria because he can do his business anywhere in the world. I said, why? He laughed. He said he's paying a rent of 4 million naira per annum. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. That 4 million naira is not enough to pay him for 1 month, wherever, another place in the world where he ever lived. And he said that in a month, when he buys fresh fruits for $200, he doesn't finish them before the end of the month. That would be foolish to live anywhere outside Nigeria. So I now asked him, what about security? He laughed. He said, can't you see that I've changed the burglar proof? So there's always prevention against anything, that will not leave Nigeria for anything. That's the man that is thinking. These boys, a lot of these people are not thinking. They're looking at the comfort in the land where they are going, not looking at the servitude and discrimination that they are facing there. That is one. Secondly, sir, all right, I'm trying to say that, look, all we need to do, you as a person, use every opportunity to let people understand. Don't forget that the world is a global place now. It's global. Nigeria is one out of several countries that can operate from by staying in Nigeria. But a lot of them are not well tutored to understand this. A lot of them have been wooed by the complaints of people around. They're looking at the problems in Nigeria as if it is peculiar to Nigeria alone. Government is a different thing. The problem of individual is yet another. Are you getting the point, sir? You, Mr. Yes, Pastor Oseni, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Negoke, if you decide to leave Nigeria and you make the effort for the next couple of months to be out of this country, but you are not leaving. You are not leaving, you are staying on. Why? Maybe because you are discovering a few things that, look, I can make it. The opportunities are here, and I don't know anywhere in the world where you can be a poor man today and become a billionaire by tomorrow. It's only in this country. So separate the government. Separate the government. The problem of government is complicated. Is the values of many people are very low. Many of them, they pass the age of education, and you cannot force them out. They wheeze out. The only thing that concerns me now is that even the young ones that are coming, the young ones that are coming from behind, the standard that are displayed doesn't seem to be better than the one that we are seeing. So I would rather like to face the individual now than talk of the nation, the governance, because you cannot. It's like computer. It's like a computer now. Those days, garbage in, garbage out. Are you getting the point, sir? There's nothing you want to teach a 65-year-old about values, and you want him to change his character overnight. It's going to be hard. And those are the people in government. Finally, the pastor like Pastor Oseni, and people like that opinion molder. Let's begin to see, let's think of people around us and their lives, and how we can make them to understand some things and be able to live and survive in this environment and have the right values. Maybe a few of them will get to government one day, and that will make things better. We are likely going to succeed with that than want to change Nigeria overnight. I've seen enough to think that it's going to be very, very hard.